Hello and welcome to this session of the Nebraska Department of Education's guest speaker series. My name is Nick Ziegler, and today's topic is artificial intelligence in world language education. We will look at 15 different free EdTech tools that you can use to enhance teaching and learning in your classes. I'll share my screen and then we will dive right in. All right, share, and I'll share my sound and let's have some fun. All right, and I'll see if I can manage allowing folks to enter at the same time. And so welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. This is AI Firehose. And so a fire hose in English is means to communicate that I'm going to share a lot of information with you in a fairly short amount of time. We're going to run from 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock. My name is Nick Ziegler. I'm at ESU 5. That's in Beatrice, Nebraska. In the state of Nebraska, there are 17 different ESUs around the state, and we serve the local school districts within our location, within our geographical location. So I'm at ESU 5 in southeast Nebraska. We still have plenty of folks trying to join, and that's wonderful. The link to the presentation is there, and so it's tinyurl.com, capital A, capital I, capital F on Firehose. I'll come out just real fast and pop that into the chat one more time. And so actually I pressed the wrong button there, didn't I? Control C and V. There it is in the chat. And now let's dive in. All right, in just an hour, I would like to talk about what is generative artificial intelligence and also how can I enhance education with AI. My background is in world language education, and I'm happy to be joining the NDE guest speaker series hosted by Crystal Liu and friends specific to world language education. So a lot of the examples will be within our world language content area. All right. In the chat, let's start with this. I'd love to know if you could please in the chat enter a 1 for I'm new to artificial intelligence and a 5 for I'm an expert in the use of artificial intelligence. Give me a sense of the room, please. Help me to know you. There are 37 of us in the room right now. How are you feeling with artificial intelligence? I'm going to pop in so I can see. Very good. I'm still admitting a few people. Very good. I see a good number of folks with entering in the chat. Thank you for participating all the way from a 1 to a 4. And so that tells me that gives me a good feel for where we are as we're starting. Kang-le, thank you for helping to add people into the presentation. I'll focus now on presenting. Thank you.
Sure.
When I talk about the evolution of the internet, when I talk about artificial intelligence, I like to quickly just have a conversation, compare it to the evolution of the internet. A lot of us, I suspect, in the room are old enough to remember that what was the internet when it first came out? Generally, that was a spot where you could log in and access some information. That might have been text, it might have been images. If you were lucky, you might have had a video, but generally speaking, it was a consumption of information that other people put onto the internet. And so then we moved about, I don't know, in the year 2000, let's say 5 or 10, we moved to Web 2.0. And so the evolution of the internet. Now, in the online space, you could go online and create something. That might be a Google Doc, for example, or potentially you could create a presentation inside of the internet. This is a Google Slides presentation, for example. where instead of installing a program on my computer, I can go online and I can create things directly inside of the cloud, right? Online, in the internet. We are now squarely in a third evolution of the internet. Instead of me going online to create an image or a presentation or whatever that might be, I can use generative artificial intelligence to create it for me. Let's follow that one more time. That first iteration of the internet was primarily consumption. People wrote things, took pictures, and they put them on the internet. It then moved into Web 2.0, where I could create something directly in the internet, in the cloud, on the internet. And we're now in Web 3.0. This generative artificial intelligence allows us to tell the internet to create the thing for us. I'm not quite sure what Web 4.0 may be. I like to kid people. I'm hopeful it's not like the Terminator movies. It won't be, right? Of course not. Defining artificial intelligence quickly. Artificial intelligence has been around for quite some time. We've been moving in this direction of artificial intelligence, embedding it into what we do in Google searches, in your Google Mail, in leveraging machine learning to engage in reasoning and problem solving. Generative artificial intelligence is that next step where we're asking the AI to create new content for us. I'm not going to open this, but the slides are all interactive. If you click on this, it will take you out to a project that a group of folks at ESUs across the state engaged in, and you can look at what is artificial intelligence and that idea of AI perceptions, that machines can understand what's in an image just by looking at the file. Machine learning, where for example, kids can engage in mastery practice, where the kids log in and they interact and maybe in a gamified way, maybe not, but they're answering questions, and the machine, the program, is helping students find that spot where they're not quite there yet. They haven't learned whatever the concept may be it in world language education or in math or in some other content area. But that idea of mastery path where kids can continue at their own path, it relies on artificial intelligence. Chatbots and voice experiences where the AI can decipher what I'm saying and in real time. It's pretty good at it. And I can interact, have a conversation with an AI. There's a lot of great application there in world language education when we come to interpersonal communication, helping students to practice having conversations with each other. We've seen it embedded into searches as well as data processing. Again, the presentation is here for you, tinyurl.com, AI Firehose. How does it work? Generally speaking, generative AI works off of large language models. And I like to call this a big bucket of information. And so the internet, that first iteration of the internet, this is the data set. In order to get these big buckets, these programs, these companies it's called scraped the internet for information, so that they have a huge data set that includes images, it includes text and videos and other content on the internet. With that data set, then they write code to have the machine, the software, interpret those things that exist in the data set. And from those things, they're creating something new. That might be an image, it might be a song. I'll show you examples of both. But and so there's another component where it's an iterative process where the programmer's writing the code to make the program work, maybe an image creator, for example. And then the user is interacting with the program, and the program itself is learning from those interactions with the users, as well as potentially getting some revised code from the programmers. This, to make it simple, that's a good model to try to understand what is generative AI. How does it work? Very, very quickly, it's important to know that in the United States, we have student data privacy laws. And some of these programs are better than others at protecting data. It's very important within K-12 education that we are not providing, without permission, personally identifiable information. Let's look at some of the requests. When you sign up for a tool like Diffit, it will ask for access to some information. All of the tools I'm going to share with you today are free or have free versions. But in response, so what are they getting from you to use their product? Some information. And again, some will try to ask for more information that they're supposed to be able to get. Diffit asks for your name as the teacher, your email address, and your language preferences. It is okay by federal law to give a third party access to your information. It is not okay to give a third party access to your students' information. Here's another AI tool that wants to see and download all of your Google Drive files. That's a big no. We can't use tools. So when you're first signing up for these things, it's important to look at the terms of service. We can't use tools that want to see and download all of your contacts. That includes students. Brisk Teaching is a popular AI tool that many people like, but without permission from your district, it is against the law to unilaterally, as the teacher, decide to use it because it asks for access to read and change all of your data on all websites. Websites, I mean, that includes your Google Drive. It includes your mail, all of your websites. So if you have open a student IEP, for example, an individualized educational plan, then this tool is reading that and storing it somewhere. Here's one final one. MetaDrive wants to see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google Drive files. No, that's against the law. Okay, briefly, we've defined generative AI as this third iteration of the internet, where instead of us going on and creating the thing, we can tell the internet to create it for us. Now I want to move into pretty rapid fire here, 15 different tools to help you create content and also engage students. As I said, all of the tools that I'm going to share with you are compliant with those federal laws. The link to the presentation for those just joining is right at the bottom, and it's on every slide. We're going to see tools to help you create images, create videos, create music, create differentiated content, lots of more things, as well as podcasts, videos, and more. Let's dive in. One of my favorite tools is DeepAI. This is to generate text from image. When you click on one of so like I said, every one of the slides is interactive. When you click on it, it takes you directly to the tool. This tool does not make you log in at all in order to use it. Now with that, as you can see, there are some pop-ups that are mildly annoying, but generally it's a pretty darn good tool. So in my world language class, a common activity that my educators engage students with at the beginning of the class, they might have a quick bell ringer. And I don't know, you might want to see a monkey wearing a suit on a bicycle, bicycle. I can't spell bicycle, bicycle, on a beach. Let's see, in the rain. I don't know. So you might want to present kids with a funky image, that kids then have to describe to a partner. In our classes, we do this as part of a bell ringer where one student will have their back to the projector. That student is going to draw what they hear the other student say. You can incorporate your target vocabulary from the unit. Maybe in your unit, for example, the word a suit with a tie might be part of that vocabulary. And so then the students have to use that vocabulary to describe it. It's a pretty fun experience. The reveal then, right, when they change places, the student who has drawn it, then they get to see how well my drawn image, how well did I understand what the other person was saying, and how well does it match what the image actually is. There are many other uses in your curriculum where you might want to generate an image. DeepAI is a very quick and good image. The last thing I want to say about this is while there have not been many federal laws that are helping to define what we can or cannot do with artificial intelligence, there is not a lot of guidance at the federal level, the state level, or even at the district level. While that's true, what we do know is that anything generated by AI cannot be copyrighted. And that's important because that means I can right click on this image and I can save it to my computer and I am not breaking copyright law. So anything you create with AI, you can download and use freely in your classes. That is text to image. Next up, we're going to glance at Diffit. This is a great tool for creating different content. I'll open it up in a new tab. And so I don't know, I might want a 3-paragraph essay on the Great Wall of China, highlighting the history of the wall, why it was built, by whom, and what purpose did it serve. And then I can tell it I want the text to be in whatever language I want it to be, and I'll leave it in English, and then I can tell it that I want it to be at what grade level I want it to be. I can even align it to different standards. But now it's going through its big bucket of information, and instead of searching for an appropriate text for your kids, it's going to create the text that I want, and it will be accompanied by an image. As I scroll down, it's giving me an overview of the thing, and it will give me a summary as well as key vocabulary. When you sign in, then it will ask you for access to your email. This was one that this is Diffit that we saw as part of the other activity here. It's asking for my email address, and so I feel comfortable with that. I can modify it. That's another thing I really like. And so I can tell it to include more detail, add to the text to include more detail about, I don't know, the Mongolians. And now I can update the reading, and it will give me a preview of what it is. So here it is, the Mongols. During this time, that served a great strategic importance. My biggest point here is instead of spending a significant amount of time writing this yourself or finding information about the Great Wall of China, you can have it generated by Diffit pretty darn quickly. When we go to export, there are a lot of different things that it can export. Some of them are premium, that's true, but a great tool nonetheless. It gives you a summary as well as vocabulary, multiple choice comprehension questions, and all sorts of other resources. This is Diffit. All right, let's continue because we're on the clock here. Another is to create videos. My favorite tool to create videos is Veed. When I click on this, I'm actually going to copy the text that we just created inside of Diffit and then press enter, and it's going to generate a quick informational video that is directly aligned to what we just created in Diffit. So how does this one work? It is now working inside of its big bucket to find videos that align to the content that's inside of our tags. And so we are turning the text into multimedia. Let's make sure that I've shared so that you can hear my sound.
The Great Wall of China.
I'm going to pause that and I'm going to unshare, and looks like I have shared my sound so you can hear it. That's great. And now let's watch a quick instructional video that we created.
The Great Wall of China is an incredible structure that stretches across the northern part of the country. It's not just one wall, but many walls joined together, each with its own story. This ancient marvel has stood the test of time, symbolizing China's rich history. Long ago, different kingdoms built walls for protection against invaders.
So, I mean, I just find this outstanding. It's a wonderful tool in which you can create some multimedia. You can create the image, or I'm sorry, the video in multiple languages as well, so that you're creating a very quick, editable. If you wanted to change what is being said on different places, you can do that. On my computer, I have a PC. I would use the snipping tool to then create a snip of the video, do a quick snip of the video, and then have it count down 3, 2, 1, play the video, and now I'm
This ancient marvel has stood the
recording the
test of
video
time,
to save it
symbolizing
for
China's
my
rich
own
history.
purposes,
Long ago,
and I can use
different
it
kingdoms
later.
built.
Let's see, and very good. Very good. Um, Now my recorder, I want to stop, and good. When you're done with the recording, you can save it to your computer and then upload it somewhere else. This is an outstanding tool for creating text to video. We're up to 50 folks. Welcome everybody. I'm happy to have you. Please remember the link to the presentation is right at the bottom. Okay, we're moving right along. This is it's 4:23 already, and I promise we're going to be done right at 5. Generating text to song. One of my favorite tools to play with is Suno. It is outstanding at creating pretty fun songs. In my classes, I've used it to help create fun jingles. I call them grammar time jingles to explain or provide examples for how to use different grammar concepts. I'm going to go through our chat, our participants real fast. Everybody's on mute. Thank you very much. All right, so when we do this, I always recommend that we identify the genre and give it an adjective. I want an upbeat, I don't know, let's say country. This is Nebraska, right? So we got to have a country song that teaches let's say Chinese, let's say American students in a Chinese 1 class how to use the simple present tense. Include many examples and also a description for how to conjugate the verbs. Now, I do not teach Chinese, and so I'm not going to be able to tell you how well it is, but I know that some of you in the room do. With the free version, it will produce, it's called version 5, and that makes you pay to have access to it. And so I am very happy with the version 4.5, and that we have access to for free. It gives you two versions of the songs, two versions of the songs, and now I can press play.
Now when you talk in the present tense, you keep it simple, don't get too dense. No need to think about yesterday or what's coming up on another day. For I, you, we, and they, or free, the verb stays the same, just plain as can be. But for he, she...
I think it understood that I wanted to teach Chinese students the English present tense. Now remember with me, if it doesn't give you the what you want, then refine your prompt. And so we don't have a whole lot of time. Is the song your voice? Absolutely, it's not my voice. It is completely AI generated. And so I had a question in the chat: is the song my voice? Absolutely not. It is completely AI generated. We have done a lot of this, creating grammar time jingles or just fun classroom songs in our world language program here out of ESU 5. Check it out, have fun with it. Moving right along, create lots of more things. I'm a huge fan of Khanmigo AI. When it is free, teacher accounts are free. When you sign up for it, yes, please. Let's come on. It's loading. Yes, please. It's thinking. Sí, por favor. Muy bien. Vamos más rápido, por favor. Okay, sí, muy bien. Okay, so when you get into Khan Academy, there are many different tools that you have access to. And so everything from helping you to create lesson plans, maybe beginning of the lesson hooks, exit tickets at the ends, thinking about classroom learning objectives. It can also create a myriad of different things from multiple choice quizzes, letters of recommendation. That can sometimes be hard when you're asked by a student to create a letter of recommendation for you. That can be hard. Generally, what I do when I'm asked for a letter of recommendation is ask whoever asked me to write it first, and then I'll edit it. But there are also differentiation ideas, helping you to chunk text as well as support. I love to show off the IEP assistant. This helps you to write an IEP. I know as someone, I'm going to stop the screen share real fast. As someone who doesn't have an extensive background in special education, when I'm asked to be part of an IEP team, sometimes it's nice to be able to have some ideas for what it is I'm supposed to be contributing. And so that's an IEP assistant, as well as refresh my knowledge to help you as a personal tool to tutor you in whatever the thing might be. Khanmigo is outstanding, has a bunch of different things that you're able to do, and it's free. Absolutely free. There is no premium version, and it's from our good friends at Khan Academy. They have promised that they are not going to charge for it ever, and they're great partners to education. I trust that will be true. So it's a great content creator as well as supports for lots of other things. Another wonderful tool is NotebookLM, and this is one that has really enhanced in the last maybe 2 months. They have added a whole lot of different opportunities. So in this example, I put in this presentation. I also put in John Hattie's effect sizes, research-based things in different classroom strategies. I pulled that in, as well as a PDF on what is the universal design for learning. And so you're adding the sources. What this does then, instead of leveraging the large bucket of information, that large language model, NotebookLM allows you to engage in similar interaction with a smaller set. It allows you to decide what those sources are. You can add from websites as well as upload your own PDFs, texts, audio, and the like, as well as use the Discover Sources button where it will do a search and suggest things on the internet that you can then either say, yes, I want to be included or not. And so then now I can interact with it. I don't let's see here. Tell me the top 3 research based strategies and provide a recommendation for an AI tool for that strategy. And the biggest point here is that you can use NotebookLM as a huge help and you upload the sources you want. I mean, I'm thinking about back when I was writing my PhD, if I could have put all of the different sources, reference documents into here to then interact with, this would have been extremely helpful, absolutely helpful. I also like that it then references the different places inside of the documents so that I can open it up and see to make sure that the AI is not making something up. On the right-hand side, this is where they have really expanded. So not only can you interact with those different sources in text base, but you can generate different things from an audio, kind of like a podcast overview, to a video overview, mind map. There's a myriad of different reports that you might then export and be then student-facing things. You can create flashcards as well as quizzes. When you interact with it in the chat, then I can also turn this interaction into a source. And so I've created a note. Now I can come over and convert that to a source. So here it's now popping over on the source side, and I can even then select only that interaction, that text, to then create a briefing doc based on that text. So it's going to look at my interaction. Remember with me, if you don't like what it tells you, you can then tell it to refine whatever it was that you wanted. The number one rule when working with AI is don't be satisfied with the first iteration. If it doesn't give you what you want, then try again. Refine your prompt and try again. So here's a quick report that it just generated from its own chat, from our interaction, and it's giving me an executive summary of the interaction. Instead of having all of these, bold faces and the things cited, it's now putting it into something that with tables and everything that allow me to potentially share this beyond myself. I always recommend, friends, if you're sharing something that's been at least partially created with AI, that you are forthright in sharing that this has been AI was a collaborator in creating this thing. But I think that's awesome. I can then copy it with the formatting to paste it into a different place. So a Microsoft or a Google Doc or even an email. But it's created for me a quick report. I can create a quiz based off of that thing. So for example, following the Great Wall of China, I could have pulled that text in as a source and then interacted with it to refine it and then create quizzes and flashcards inside of NotebookLM. This is tied to your to Google. So if you're a Google school, one thing I like about it is that it follows the privacy policies of Google for education when you're using it from your educational account. And therefore, you have more privacy. It's not using what you're doing to train its model further. That makes me feel good. A final thing I would say about it is that when you're inside of one of these, you are able to share your notebook inside of your school domain. And so let's make sure. Thank you, everybody, for remaining mute. Just because we have 56 folks in here, want to allow for interaction, but want you to be muted, please. Thank you. But you're able to get access to that source that you have created. And this would allow me to potentially share the chat. You could create something that you then share to the kids to interact with directly. And so this is NotebookLM. I'm going to do some tab management across the top, get rid of some of the tools we've looked at. All right, friends, we're moving right along. It's 4:36. We've defined generative AI as this third wave of the internet, this third iteration, where no longer are we the ones creating the thing. We can tell the internet to create it for us. We just saw 6 or 8 different tools for creating content, from images to videos to songs. I want to now share with you my favorite tools for engaging students. We'll look at interactive flashcards, interactive videos, rubric-based feedback, interactive presentation, the idea of creating agents where students can interact directly with that chatbot, but you get to define what that interaction looks like. You get to confine the interaction to potentially specific vocabulary, grammar. We are big fans of SchoolAI. I also want to share Google Gemini. That's another tool that we've been using more and more. All right. Let's look over here and share. I have left this slide in here because it's a good example of a tool, Quizlet QChat, that has died. It has died. I've left it in here because just like in Web 2.0, there were many tools that have come and went. Remember Flipgrid? I was a huge fan of Flipgrid. Microsoft purchased it. It became Flip. It was free to educators for 3 or 4 years, and now it's gone. Similarly, some of our AI tools are coming and going. Quizlet is a wonderful spot, but their AI companion to flashcards has gone away. It's my understanding they're trying to bring it back, but I've left it in here. It used to let you do direct practice, quiz me. You could talk directly to an AI tutor, story mode. It's a good example of how the internet will continue to evolve. Some of these tools are going to slowly go away. Maybe. Interactive video creator. I like KyonLearning a lot. I'm going to open up an example and show it to you briefly. Oh, it's going to make me log in. Authentication failed. All right, let's try to make it. This was supposed to be in a preview. Here it comes. Very good. Let's do away. That's fine. We'll leave it. We'll watch it from here. All right. And so this is a tool where I can go onto KyonLearning and I can create a mini lesson for the kids, and it will create the description. So this is one on solving algebraic equations.
Let's explore the concept.
All of this is AI generated. I told it the concept, I told it the thing, I provided some more guidance around who is the target audience. It then generated the text, the script that it then is reading with an AI voice, and this avatar is AI generated.
Concept of solving algebraic equations with
We're
one
not going to
variable.
worry too much
To solve
about
an equation like
algebraic
3x
equations, but I do want to show you how is it interactive. So when we get through,
what is the value of x in the equation 3x plus 5 equals sine 14?
well, good question. It then, there are two different interactive components. One is kind of like with our tools, I don't know, like Nearpod or some of our other tools that allow you to embed questions into a video. It will embed multiple choice questions into your video.
That's not correct.
And
Remember that 3x means 3
notice
times.
I picked it incorrect, and it's now going to tell me why I was incorrect and help me to solve the thing. All right, so I don't know, it's 3. Is it 3?
Great job.
Great
The
job.
value of x that satisfies the equation 3x
Ed
plus
puzzle.
5 equals
Thank
sine
you,
14 is indeed
Nanling.
3.
That's another
Keep up the
tool
great
that
work.
allows you to embed multiple choice questions as well as
To
open
solve the equation
questions into
4x 7 equals
a video. And so with Edpuzzle, you can embed open-ended questions, but let's look at another reason
how would you
why
solve the
this is
equation
amazing.
4x 7 equals sine 21, and what is the value of x?
Great. So I'm supposed to solve this, but now instead of it being an open-ended response like an Edpuzzle or a Nearpod allows you to do, this is interactive. It's an AI chat with the students. And so notice with me, it will open without kids even having to log in. So I'm not sure. Please explain this to me. And instead of
No
trying to do
problem.
that real quick, it's
Let's start together. What do you think
okay.
is the first step to get x by itself in the equation? 4x minus 7 equals 20.
So you've created an interactive video that actually talks directly, provides students mastery-based feedback, whereby if they have it correct, they can move on to something else. But if they don't, then they receive personalized feedback in an AI-powered way. So that is interactive videos. Another big favorite of mine is ClassCompanion. This is AI-powered, rubric-based feedback. In our classes, we are doing this for that presentational mode of communication. And so your favorite activity over the weekend. Before we do it, we better look at the rubric. So this is one that I helped an English teacher create. And so she wanted the criteria to be complete sentences, punctuation, spelling, and structure. And so we defined that rubric. And now, as we go through, my favorite activity over the weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. I went to the park with my family. We saw the most amazing thing. There was a flock of geese there in the park. They were floating on the pond and having a great time. I don't know, friends. I'm just trying to get to the spot where we can press enter. And so now it's going to analyze. None of that is true, by the way, friends, but that's okay. It's now giving my student rubric-based feedback. And notice here, you can set it to allow for multiple attempts. Looking at the rubric, I have good complete sentences. I did use good punctuation. Spelling is all right. But to improve, try adding a topic sentence, a beginning, and a conclusion. I didn't have a conclusion to this my little paragraph here. But I can try again. In the end, my family and I went home with smiles on our faces. And now I can press submit. And so let's see if it likes my conclusion any better. And so, ooh, it still doesn't like my structure. And so my favorite activity, so for example, but it's giving the kids rubric-based feedback. But beyond that, it's not just you got a 0. Here are some ideas to improve. Again, we use this in our classes to provide students with a first round of feedback on their presentational products. Now, please hear me say, I'm going to stop the screen share so you can see me for a bit. Please hear me say, in the world of generative artificial intelligence, gone are the days in which we can give students an essay to take home and write out. I mean, for example, ask the students to I don't know, write 10 sentences about your family members. Include things like what they look like, how old they are, and what you like to do together. That's an example of a project from one of my classes. Okay, what do you think the kids are going to do if they go home with those instructions? They're going to use generative artificial intelligence, and you're going to come back with something that's not their work. Instead, step one in class, I have kids write by hand. By hand. They can use their notes, they can use their vocab, they can use paper-based things, but no technology. I want by hand a first draft that they then take a picture of and upload to our learning management system so that I have a record of their first attempt. But I don't want, as the teacher, to spend my time on a crappy first attempt. Instead, I have the students go through a round of AI-generated feedback using ClassCompanion to help them improve the quality of their product. That then I allow for kids to type onto a document. I still have their first draft. Inside of ClassCompanion, I can see multiple attempts. I can see it from the teacher page. And the teacher now will give their feedback before it becomes that final product text that the kids then create, I don't know, a picture collage of their family members with images and then the text that describes their family members. Step one, no technology. I want to know what you can do, not what AI can do. Step two, as the teacher, I'm leveraging AI to give immediate feedback to the kids to enhance the quality of their draft before the teacher even sees it. Step three, with the teacher feedback, they then move forward in creating something special, a presentational product of some kind, be it a presentation, a slides presentation, a video, whatever that may be. All right. Another tool that I'm a big fan of is Snorkl. Now, with ClassCompanion, we saw rubric-based feedback on written language, but with Snorkl, we can give rubric-based feedback on spoken language. When I open this up, and so another thing, it can ask the kids to sign in, but you can also have it just log in as guest. My name is not Billy, but we'll just put in Billy. And so let's start a response. Okay, let's go. So it says you have a garden, 1/4 of the garden is carrots and 1/2 of the garden is tomatoes. How much space is left for your garden of potatoes? The kids create, that's just the prompt. The prompt can be anything you want. The kids press record and it looks like it's going to let me do this. Allow, very good. Okay, so it's recording. And so I have a garden. Here's my garden. And I'm going to split it. So it says 1/4 of my garden is carrots. I'll put a C for carrots. And then I have one half of my garden is tomatoes, so that's T for tomatoes. It looks like I'm left with 1/4 of my garden for P for potatoes. And I'll stop, end the review. The kids have the opportunity to to look at what they've done. Okay, so it's recording, and so I have a garden. Here's my garden, and I'm going to split it so it is recording both what you're drawing and what you're saying. I'll press submit. It'll take just a moment to go through to generate the feedback. But think about this in your world language classes. You could upload an image and ask students to describe the image. You could upload a prompt. ¿Qué hiciste el fin de semana pasado? What did you do last weekend? And ask students to respond. And now kids are using their voice to then get feedback based on the quality of their responses. It does take just a moment. Now just let's think in awe about the quality of this, or how long does it take you if every one of your kids in your classes records for 45 seconds and you have, I don't know, 100 kids, that's what? 400, and that's a long time. Math is not the content area that I teach. But instead of me listening to every single one of them, it looks like I got an excellent rubric-based feedback. Good job drawing. And so I love how you clearly labeled. Perfect. You correctly solved that it was 1/4 of the garden is left for potatoes. Your explanation was clear and complete. This is Snorkl for rubric-based feedback on audio, on spoken output. We have 9 minutes left, and I have a couple tools left to share with you. Interactive presentations, Curipod. I'm a big fan of Curipod. It's an interactive presentation generator. And so I'm going to have to open it up. And this actually takes you to like this interactive component, and we won't have time for that. So I'm going to go directly to Curipod, and let's see if I can get in with some degree of ease here. And then let's yes, please. And yes, please. Very good. Curipod is like a Nearpod presentation or a Pear Deck presentation, whereby it can allow kids to interact directly. They can log in to, yes, please. I want to look at it. Yes, please. I want to edit it. Thank you. And so yes, please. And I got to be able to see my whole screen. Manual edit. Okay, very good. All right. Curipod is a great tool. You can use the AI to help you create the presentation. Students log in and can engage in things like word cloud activities, poll questions, drawing activities. I'm a huge fan of the drawing activities. You can even have it give AI feedback on a drawing experience, draw the life cycle of a butterfly. But with drawing, I mean, for example, the prompt might be, there is an apple on top of the table. To the right of the apple is a carrot. And have the students draw what they heard you say in the target language. And so then you get thumbnail images in real time. It's great. In real time, you get thumbnail images of how well kids understood. Use the AI feedback, and it will then score the kids based on their drawing. It allows for open-ended responses, as well as AI feedback on those open responses. As I said, you can have the AI tool, engage with you to create some of the content. So go back to one of the tools like Khanmigo. You could use Khanmigo to create the outline of a lesson and Curipod to turn that into an interactive presentation that your kids are engaging with you. And use the AI here to personalize that to your own context. I'm a huge fan of Curipod for interactive presentations. SchoolAI, I don't want to like not spend any time on it, but we have to go fairly quick. This is maybe my favorite tool. SchoolAI allows you to create an interactive chatbot. When you open this, it will take you to an example. Instead, I'm going to go to my school AI and show you, and let's come over here. This is the space creator. So when you create something, you give it a title, and then here's your prompt. And this is where the magic happens. You're creating an interactive chatbot for anything you might want it to do. I'm going to show you, instead of trying to create one in the little time we have left, let's go to my profile, and then I'll copy that, and I'll even pop it into the chat so that everybody can go to my profile, where you'll find 108 different spaces that I've created as part of my program, as well as in doing professional development for others. Let's look at, I don't know, an example in English. A lot of this is in Spanish. And so an argumentative essay revision practice. And so I'm going to press the edit button so that we can see the directions here. And so when you're creating your space, it's important to define the purpose. It's important to provide the AI chatbot directions for what's supposed to happen when students enter the space. Use words like next, then. Use if and then statements. But the point is, you define this interaction. If the students get the answer correct, next, ask them to do something. If the students get it incorrect on their first attempt, ask them the same question, but this time in multiple choice with 3 different options. If they select a different multiple choice, tell them what the element was missing. And again, so you can create this to do anything you want. Students interact inside with text. Yes, I'm ready. And so this is revising an argumentative essay. Okay, so then it gives me an argumentative essay that we don't have time to read. And it says here the key elements, which key element is missing. And I'll just say the rebuttal, just for fun. And that might be right, it might be wrong. So not quite. Notice the directions are, if the kids don't get it right, now give them multiple choice options here. And so then it's A, evidence. And so I don't know if that's true or not because we didn't read it. And so what it was actually the rebuttal. Interesting, because I said rebuttal. That's interesting. SchoolAI is great. I have noticed that it doesn't sometimes do everything that you want it to do exactly the right way. I use it in our program primarily for interpersonal activities as well as interpretive activities. And so again, I have noticed that it doesn't necessarily do the good thing every time. So therefore, I have started using Gemini gems in that are stronger. An example is an ACT math practice gem that I've had actually my middle daughter engage with over the summer, where it is similar to SchoolAI in that when you go to Gemini, you can create a gem, a new gem, and it looks very similar to you provide it the instructions you want. You can upload files, And then when I come back over here, I can also, let's look, explore my gems. I can share the gems to the students directly. Now, what I like about SchoolAI is that I get to see there's a teacher dashboard and I can see in real time how kids are interacting with the tool. With Gemini Gem, they're more powerful in that they'll follow your directions even better. The AI model is more advanced than what SchoolAI is using. However, you don't have that teacher dashboard with the Gemini Gems. A couple other things that are just amazing to me around Gemini here is the storybook creator. And I don't know if I still have one. Here's one, Mi familia y yo. And so let's see here. I uploaded my vocabulary from a unit, and I told it in Spanish to create a story in Spanish that includes the vocabulary in the attachment. I want that the story has to do with a student, that it has a student. When you open it up, it's actually pretty amazing. It creates a pretty awesome interactive in so much as it will read the story to you. That's just one thing Gemini can do. It'll create stories. You can also create images from Google Gemini. You can create videos from Google Gemini. But in the vein of engaging students, you can create interactive spaces like ACT math practice, proficiency guideline help, ACT language, map practice. If you're in Nebraska, that's what we use is the map test, and then share that directly to your kids. And we're right at 5:01. So friends, we have here's the directions for how you could create an ACT math practice chatbot if you so desire. You can click on that. Very quickly, friends, we're right at the end. In 1 hour, we have defined generative AI as the third iteration of the internet. We are now at the spot where instead of us creating the content, we can go online and leverage these AI tools to create things for us. That might be creating content. It is also potentially creating spaces or to engage students directly. Thank you all for your time. We're right at the end. This has been AI Firehose with me. I'm Nick Ziegler. Here is my email address if you would like to reach out, and the link to our presentation there. I'm going to stop the recording now for the purpose of our webinar series, but I'll stay online for friends if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ziegler, for sharing all those amazing AI